And oh, there she is.
What, Shelly?
She's super motivational. She's been on every Zoom. She is phenomenal. She's like jumped in. She didn't tip her, she didn't put her toe in the water. She was like, I'm in.
Shelly, I'm going to unmute you here. And then what I'd love to hear is like, tell me a little bit about something you're excited about. And then tell us kind of the progress you've made working with Mary.
Well, I didn't just tip my foot in because I've been through it all, every diet. So this is nothing new to me. But the thing I like most about this particular thing is the education.
Yeah.
Changing the mindset and learning how to be healthy.
Yeah.
Which seems to be what's been missing in everything I've been trying to do. And, I lost the weight. It was great. But it always comes back because I didn't learn anything from the experience. So.
You learned how to lose weight, and it sounds like you were a good student, right?
Yeah, I guess I'm a really good student.
Yeah. So now you're just learning the next thing is to be healthy, right?
Yeah, well, I went to school. I went to high school with Mary, so I've watched her on Facebook for the last several months, if not a year longer, and she's just happy all the time and just so energetic. And so I finally just was like, emailed her and was like, okay, what is this? Because I got to have it because it's just amazing. So
good job, Shelly. Yeah. So if you can think back this, we have this thing called non-scale victories, because obviously it's easy to celebrate the scale, obviously, and it moves all the time. So we're celebrating regularly, right? But think of something that these changes are like, oh, I noticed I could do this, or, oh, I noticed that. Can you think of something that stood out to you?
Well, right off the bat, and I've texted Mary several times, is that I've not gotten a headache.
Oh.
Like, how usually you start something and it's like you come off the sugar and you come off all these carbs and, you spend 2 days with a migraine, and I just have not had that. I haven't had the headache. I've been grumpy a little bit, but I think that's kind of normal. But some people think that's normal for me. But so that's for me. That's just been the great, because headaches can be debilitating when you're working, and I haven't had that, and I've actually felt really good. And I'm day 5. So
day 5. What's
I'm
up,
day 5. Yeah.
Well, you know what? There's going to be more. There's going to be more good days.
Yes.
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 Now, who's your friend there? Because we always introduce children.
This is my daughter, Sophie.
Hi,
Sophie. What's up?
Yes. So, and I have a great family. I have a very supportive family, so that's really important, and I appreciate all of them. So.
Yeah. Well, Shelly, so this is basically, even as health coaches, really, there's not a lot of difference between a health coach and someone who's just a client, right? We're all clients, and we're all working on our health together. And so as health coaches, we just decided to be intentional and sort of make it stick. And as a health coach, my chances of longevity go up 5 times. So my first motivation to be a health coach was all about me, right? And then, over time, of course, I get to help other people, and so it becomes about us. But I just want to thank you for coming on here, because you are a perfect reminder of why we do what we do and why this is important. So thank you for sharing your story tonight.
Well, thank you, because I've enjoyed all my Zooms that I've been watching.
Oh, fun.
I haven't been talking, but I've been watching them all or listening, so it's been great.
Nice.
Great. So funny, because on Saturday or Sunday, she's like, make sure you remind me when the Zooms are. And I'm like, of course. So.
Yeah.
Like, with 6 kids, I have a lot going on, so just send me the reminders. So.
Yeah.
Mom, I got you.
Okay, thank you.
So awesome. Nice to meet you, Shelly.
Thank you.
I'm going to mute you there. One of the things, I have a couple topics tonight that I wanted to cover. It's going to be a pretty light on technical stuff, but so I wanted to give you an idea, and then let you guys ask some questions, and really just turn it over to you guys. What are some of the challenges that you're having? Think about, like, sometimes you as coaches, you have this thing in your mind that's in your way, but you're the only one that knows about it. You may not even recognize that it's there. So think about that, what's in my way of getting where I want to be. And then let's talk about that, because we might be able to figure out a way to go under it or go over it, or maybe we'll tunnel through it, right? And so think about that a little bit. And then I just want to talk about this idea. Somebody actually, I was talking to Linda Benson, who's watching Star Wars with her husband / boyfriend. He's the same guy, right? Can you believe it? That coaching is portable. I was thinking, I love that word, portable. And so she was out coaching, and she was in her car somewhere. And I said, well, the neat thing about coaching is it's portable. You can do it from wherever you are. You don't need to be locked to a room or locked to a cubicle, or you don't have to be, showing up at a specific location, at 8 in the morning.
Hawaii.
You can coach in Hawaii. That's right, Mary. So what do you think about that? Just kind of the values and the benefits of what that means, what the fact that coaching is portable, how is that a value or a benefit? Just to have a little chit chat right here. And actually, while you're thinking about that, I want to introduce Virginia to the gang here. Virginia, whoops, I ended up muting your video. That was my fault. Let me figure out how to not do that. There we go. And then we'll unmute your audio. But that's a cool picture. I'm glad I did that. Oh my goodness, is that some kind of a shark?
Yes, whale shark.
A whale shark, awesome.
We went to the Philippines.
Oh, so nice. So Virginia, you're part of Cora's team, correct?
Yes.
Yep. And so just so the rest of the gang can get to know you a little bit, tell where you're from, and sort of just something you're excited about with this health coaching program.
Something I'm excited that I didn't even realize that I could really connect to people. I didn't realize that. But now that people are just coming up to me and telling me, oh, what are you doing? You lost weight. And so can you share, so it's exciting. So.
Yeah. Yep. And you're from Southern California?
I'm from Long Beach, yes.
Long Beach. And what do you do? What is your current primary profession?
I'm a nurse in ICU.
ICU nurse. Awesome.
Yes.
And it's interesting because Cindy is a nurse as well from the Colorado area.
All right.
Yeah. So we have quite a few nurses. Oddly enough, nurses have a heart to help people. And when they find that this program does that, they seem to get in line pretty quickly and incorporate this.
They have a mid-career crisis.
A mid-career crisis, exactly. Yep. And we teachers are the other. Mary's a teacher. We have quite a few teachers that are on our team as well. And it's so much fun to work with teachers and nurses and doctors, because actually they have a lot of things in common. So awesome. And so anything else or you'd like to share with us, Virginia?
I'm just learning, so.
Good. So she's like the rest of us. I love that about you. We're all learning. That's true. Yep. And has Cora, has she had her baby yet? Do you know?
Not yet. In about two weeks or less, probably.
Okay. Yeah. Cora's pregnant. Cora's the first person that I've coached, through her pregnancy as a coach and as a client, and very healthy pregnancy. And she says she feels better while she's pregnant than she did before she started this program when she wasn't pregnant. Like literally wasn't good. Yeah. So that's been fun. Awesome. Okay. So let's, portable coaching. You have any comments, or is that just maybe something you can stuff away in your pocket?
I have a question regarding that.
Sure.
So if someone was to ask you, if you could choose in choosing your career, in choosing your place of employment, what would your top 5 places to work be?
That'd be good.
Because,
Yeah, that's one of the things. What you're saying there, Martin. Oh, did you have more to say?
because if coaching is portable, and these are your top 5 places where you would like to work, what if do you have a vehicle that allows you to do that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, and along that lines, if you think about, if you were to take like open of a box of possibilities, right? Let's just say they're like colors, and you have a canvas, and that's kind of passe, and you're going to paint your dream, whatever, right? But if you think about it, people have preferences of colors, and they have preferences of things they would like to do. You know, you can do the contrast. If you had a job of your dreams, would you work alongside people or away from people? People that say away from people wouldn't be good candidates for coaches, right? Because people are involved, right? Okay, that's a simple one. Or if you like, would you like to work indoors or would you prefer to be outdoors? Some people, I mean, literally, there's both work for health coaching, but that literally is the type of a thing. It's good to know that about somebody. You know, if would you like to have systematic, repetitious work, which some people love. No, I don't. I like variety and I like creativity. So that works, but both of those work as well as coaches as well. But if you talk with people and they were able to design kind of a career or a job that would fulfill them, so they didn't have to go to work and go to the grind, take the money they got, and then go live their life. What if where you worked was actually something you looked forward to going to? You spent a lot of time at work, you know? And anyway, those are just some kinds of things I think about when I'm talking to somebody is what preferences or what colors do they like? Because everybody likes different colors. And if their colors end up being colors that are also compatible with health coaching, then there is a fit. You just got to figure out, have that conversation to find the match there. And I'm not trying to make somebody. Here's a simple analogy. I'm looking for the color blue, and if Cindy is the color red, I don't want to make her the color blue, right? I want to go keep talking to people until I find someone that wants the color blue, right? And so I'm not trying to make people be health coaches. I'm looking for people that actually want to be a health coach. They've just never been asked and they don't really know that they could. And when I find those people, this is what this is and this is what they want, it's easy. It makes sense. That's why nurses, they like to help people. Guess what we do? We help people. So it's a very easy fit. It just happens. So as you're looking for people around, don't try to, it's weird when you try to force somebody to be something they're not. I want you to be the color blue because I like you. Well, I'm the color red. It just doesn't work. But if you like them and they're the color, they love the same color you love, man, why would that? Then you come here and here you are. Yay for red. Or I don't know what color we are, but maybe we're green and blue. I don't know.
That makes sense.
Yeah. That helps me not to get weird when I'm talking about health coaching because I'm not trying to manufacture a coach. I'm not trying to trick you. I'm not trying to manipulate you into being a coach. It's a horrible idea. But I wanted to be a coach. I just didn't know that there was coaching. I was a computer guy, but I loved people and I loved creating things and I loved helping. I just did it through technology and I realized I could do it with this. So that's why this fit for me. So at this point, I really don't have a ton of, we have maybe 10, 15 minutes left. I really would love to just have you guys say, what are you stuck with? What do you feel you need to move to that next step? And I'll just turn it over to some Q&A. You have something, Cindy? No?
I'm trying to keep my sons from not falling all over me.
I love it when you guys bring your kids on. I love it.
My 3 sons.
Yep. So Virginia, do you have something that you're like that would be helpful if you knew the answer to it, or anything that comes up? Maybe a coaching question. I've got some stuff about going into transition into maintenance and what that looks like that we can talk about. You know, I can talk about lots of stuff, but I really, what do you guys?
Here's some.
I don't know. I'm thinking right now, because some people, they seem like they're interested. They asked you, and then you ask them again and say, oh, they're like undecided because, you know, we love food, but they know that they are unhealthy. And so that, you know.
That actually, Virginia, here's a really, this is like a tool that you can keep in your back pocket for any situation. So if you were to say, well, I'm not sure about this because I love food, right? So the question is, what do you mean you love food? So you ask them, what do they mean by the thing that they just said? You know, I don't like to, you know, I love food, like you just said. So you'd say, what do you mean you love food? Because don't you love food, Virginia?
Yes, of course.
And don't you get to eat 6 times a day? Were you eating that often before? Yeah. Maybe not, right? I wasn't eating 6 times a day. I love food. And on this program, I eat more food, right? And I'm learning new recipes that aren't just tasty, but they're also healthy. So I love food. You know, but it depends on what they mean by food. I love not to restrict myself, and I love to eat whatever I want. Well, if that's what they mean by that, then this probably may not be a good fit right now. Hi, Jessica. Welcome. The Hoffmeyer's here.
Hi, I can hop off and
No. We're just finishing up our coaches call. This is all bunch of coaches. You know a bunch of these, gang. Yeah, Virginia's a brand new coach. She's an ICU nurse, and Cindy's a nurse as well. And you may have met Martin at different places and a few other gangs here. Yep. All right, guys. Well, we actually have a few minutes, so you're welcome to stay on. We're just going over a few questions, like when someone says, you know, maybe someone says, I don't eat processed food. I say, well, tell me a little bit more about that. What do you mean you don't eat processed food? And so anytime someone makes a statement, if you don't know how, it's sometimes the best, I would say 90% of the time is not to say, you know, not to try to overcome their objection, but it's actually to gather more information. And so asking them, what do you mean by you don't eat processed food? Because it's not that it's processed or not processed, it's why it's processed and how much it's processed, right? Even peanut butter is processed. So is olive oil. So is wine.
That olive oil example has been very helpful in having that specific conversation with people.
Mm-hmm. Somebody, David Bush, said, what about wine? Because there's a lot of people that drink wine. So you don't like wine? I don't like wine personally, but a lot of people do. And so when they say they don't eat processed foods or they don't do processed, it's like, do you have a problem with wine? Because by the way, those grapes didn't come off the tree looking like that, right? Or bush.
If you really
want a tree, it's a great bush, I think. So anyway, those are some things. What do you mean by that? And then, so that's the first, I call it the Colombo question. And the second question is, how did you come to the conclusion you just made? Like, I don't eat processed foods. What do you mean by processed foods? And they tell you what they mean by that, because they're thinking probably Twinkies or, you know, Ho-Hos or something, or Doritos. And then you say, so how did you come to the conclusion that what we are offering is like Doritos? You know, how did you come to that? We're talking about actually healthy, convenient foods. That's what we're trying to do, and we're trying to figure out a way. And then the last thing I'll tell you, and this is really powerful to me when I think about these things or I hear about these things, they're so helpful because we have conversations all day long. And so if we can talk about a way to talk to people about it, that we've kind of heard it before. And so somebody said this to me one day. They said, I'm just tired of the food. I'm just tired of the 5-in-1. I just can't stomach it anymore. And so what they did is they actually had poisoned their mind to the antidote for their problem. Right? The 5-in-1 became the problem, not high blood pressure and obesity and cancer and all those things. That wasn't the enemy anymore. It was the food. And so I said very simply, I said, I just want you, by all means, you can walk away from the 5-in-1, even though you're not at your goal weight, you can walk away. But I do want you to just consider this. By removing the 5-in-1, you've only eliminated one of your solutions. You have done nothing with your problem. And they were like, well, I never thought about it like that. And it just kind of tipped it on them because the problem was still there, but now they had their biggest ally, the most effective weapon I've ever seen against this threat. And they're eliminating that because they all of a sudden switched obesity as the problem to the taste of that food or the whatever, the constraints of the program. So a couple just little psychological things as you're talking to people that, you know, by taking away our program, we don't remove the problem. We just remove a solution. And then asking people the question of, what do you mean by that? When they say, make a statement, I can't afford it. That's too expensive. Tell me what you mean by it's too expensive. And how did you come to the conclusion that it's too expensive? Have you figured out what you spend a month right now? Because I'm really wanting to help you, and I know you really want to do this, and you're saying this is too expensive, so let's talk through that for a minute. How much do you spend now on groceries? Well, I don't know. Well, could you take a guess? That's everybody says, I don't know. Well, how do you, and I want to say, well, how do you know you can't afford it if you don't even know what you're spending? I don't say that, but anyway, so those are some of those kinds of things, and hopefully that'll help you, not just in this world, but, you know, anytime someone makes a statement of truth that you know is not true, instead of telling them they're wrong, gain more information and ask them how they came to that conclusion. What do they mean by that? And oftentimes you'll feel like they don't even really know why they believe what they believe. They just heard it somewhere down the road and it's not really that valuable. So anyway, any comments about that, or you can see ways that you could use that?
I have a question.
Yes.
What about those people who wants to be in the program, but education is really part of this program?
Yeah.
Because that's how you will learn, and they're saying, oh, I don't really want to read.
Mm-hmm.
So that means for me, it's going to be more of you, okay, coaching them and teaching them if they don't want to read, but they want to be in the program.
Yeah. Great question. Excellent question. What I would say to that is you, so I would go back. So Virginia, I'll just role play with you. So you say you want to be in this program and you want the results of this guest, but you don't want to read. And so would you agree that right now you don't know how to live a healthy lifestyle? Would you agree that currently, I mean, pretend you're this person, currently you don't know how to do that? Would you agree? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. But it's something that, but you said you wanted to lose your weight and you wanted to keep it off. So you don't know it, and yet you told me you need to know it. Right. Yes. Right. And so I'm curious, how do we know what we know? We have to learn it somehow. So what if we were to figure out what kind of a learner you are? Because if you don't learn these healthy habits, it's impossible for you to get what you want. So I would say, Virginia, if you were to think about maybe learning in these 4 different ways, would you say that you don't like to read? Some people learn by writing. Some people learn by listening. And some people learn by talking. So if you were to pick one of those 4, what would you say would be the one that is most compatible with your learning style? What would you say, actually? What would be yours?
Well, for me, actually, I like listening. I like hands-on. I like to read. So it's like overall, not
So you
just
do a lot of
one
stuff.
time. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you're a good student, and most nurses are good students. So, but yeah, so I just ask people. So if people I like to listen to podcasts. I really don't like to read books. I love to listen to books be read to me. I love that all day. So what I did is I subscribed to the podcasts. We have 3 podcasts every week that are fresh off the press, and you can listen to those all the time. And so I would say, don't worry about the book for now. Listen to the podcasts. Listen to all 3 episodes every day for the next 90, or every week for the next 90 days. So the next 3 months, you'll have 3 half-hour episodes every week that you listen to, and that's going to be the way that we teach you the habits of health.
Or join the challenge.
That's another way. The challenge has multimedia, and so you get to read, you get to watch, you get to click, you get activities, and you get access to these huddles where you talk and listen and sort of be in a connected. And so the challenges do cover a lot of those. We have lots of ways to learn the habits of health that don't involve picking up the book and reading it. Although I will tell you, when people say that their lives are really stressed and they can't stay on program in the evenings, they have the munchies. It's usually because they're bored, or they just have a lot of stress from their life, and so they come home and try to decompress. So what I tell them is, I say, go grab your book, and I'm going to mute you there. I say, go grab your book and turn to page 314. So you can memorize that, 314. And page 314 is a breathing exercise that allows that you can have people walk through. And I say, if you are having stressed out time with munchies in the evening, we need to focus on your body's ability to handle and process stress. And so can I give you homework for the week that will help you with your problem? They'll say yes, hopefully. You say, read page 314 and do it once a day for the next 7 days, and tell me how it goes. Right? And that helps them. That will help them with the ability to handle that stress, and hopefully it'll change their evening munchiness, and it'll get better. So, all right, guys. Well, we're next week. If you're in the challenge, by the way, there is a Monday nights at 5 Pacific. We have a half-hour coaches huddle. It's on the Optimal Health Coach page. And so we do challenge tips. We feature a section of the challenge. We talk about surveys and different things. Then on Tuesday night, it's an all play. We have room for 1,000 people. We had our first one tonight. We had 320 people in there. But it's a half an hour from 6 to 6:30. And so you're welcome to join. If you're in the challenge, you can join in that. Even if you're not, you can technically join in it. And then we have our coaches training from 6:30 to 7:30 on Tuesday nights. So awesome. Well, that is the end.